If you were to ask James Bond himself what he wants in a watch, the answer would likely be lightweight, unobtrusive, distinctive without being flashy, and capable of withstanding the rigors of international espionage. While they may not all be secret agents, these qualities are remarkably universal in their appeal, which explains why the Omega Seamaster Diver 300-007 edition has become one of the most coveted timepieces in Omega's modern lineup. The relationship between James Bond and Omega dates back to 1995, when Pierce Brosnan's 007 first strapped on a Seamaster Professional in GoldenEye, a significant shift from the Rolex Submariners worn by Sean Connery's Bond. Throughout the years, this partnership has yielded numerous special editions, but few have garnered the attention or divided opinion, quite like the No Time to Die edition released in late 2019. What sets this particular Bond watch apart is the level of collaboration between Omega and Daniel Craig himself. After 4 previous films as 007, Craig wanted something lighter and less flashy, a proper military tool rather than a luxury accessory. The result is a timepiece that doesn't just commemorate a film, but represents a thoughtful reimagining of the Seamaster formula, one that strips away the gloss in favor of a more utilitarian, vintage-inspired aesthetic. And today, we'll be taking a closer look at the ever-popular Seamaster 300-007 edition, giving our personal thoughts after spending a good amount of time with the watch over the years. The first thing that strikes you when handling the No Time to Die Seamaster is just how little it weighs in hand. At just 93 grams total, the Grade 2 titanium case and mesh bracelet create an almost disconcerting lightness. It feels like it's barely there, and if you haven't handled titanium watches, especially at this price point, it can definitely catch you off guard a bit. We will say though, that quickly transforms from surprising to sublime once you strap it on. The color palette makes an immediate impact. Where most modern Seamasters lean into glossy ceramic with high contrast coloration, the No Time to Die edition features a warm, muted spectrum of browns and tans. The dark, tropical brown dial and bezel are complemented by vintage-inspired, beige luminous material on the indices and hands, what some might call fauxtina, though in this context it reads as a deliberate aesthetic choice that complements the titanium's warm tones. The overall impression is one of restrained sophistication. Nothing on this watch shouts for attention. There's no polished surfaces to catch light, no waves engraved on the dial, a Seamaster signature since 1993, and no ceramic shine. Instead, the sandblasted titanium creates a subtle, almost stealthy presence that feels purposeful rather than decorative. Community reaction has been polarizing. Some longtime Seamaster enthusiasts balk at the price premium over the standard steel models and question departures like the aluminum bezel insert. Others see it as the ultimate evolution of the Seamaster design, a piece that finally achieves the perfect balance between heritage inspiration and modern engineering. We think that many of the comments online sum it up perfectly. It's what the regular Seamaster wants to be when it grows up, and that's coming from someone who absolutely loves the quote-unquote regular Seamaster. The 42mm Grade 2 titanium case represents a substantial departure from standard Seamaster fare. This specific titanium grade was chosen for its ability to take on a uniform, matte, sandblasted finish. While Grade 2 is sometimes considered softer and more prone to scratching, this natural patina development aligns with the watch's vintage military aesthetic. Measuring 13mm thick and 49.6mm lug-to-lug, the dimensions suggest a substantial watch. Yet the titanium construction and downward curving lugs create a remarkably wearable experience. The case appears visibly thinner than a standard Seamaster 300, despite being only about 0.5mm slimmer, a visual trick achieved through clever case architecture and the domed sapphire crystal. We'll say that the watch was a nearly perfect fit on one of our team members' 7-inch wrist, and were pretty nicely, albeit slightly larger, on our wearer's 6.75-inch wrist, seen here in the video for reference. That boxed domed sapphire crystal adds significant character while channeling vintage aesthetics. Unlike many modern watches with flat sapphires, this domed crystal creates beautiful distortions at extreme angles, reminiscent of the acrylic crystals of the 1960s, but with modern scratch resistance. Another subtle detail, the No Time to Die edition only has anti-reflective treatment on the underside, allowing for more natural light play. The 120-click scalloped aluminum bezel insert, rather than ceramic, has been controversial. Some view it as a downgrade from the scratch-resistant ceramic found on standard Seamasters. However, the choice was deliberate. Aluminum will develop a patina over time that ceramic cannot, enhancing the watch's evolving character. Perhaps the most spectacular feature of the bezel is that it's fully loomed, creating a mesmerizing nighttime display when the entire bezel glows alongside the dial. The crown at 3 o'clock features Omega's Naiad lock system, ensuring not only increased water protection, but it also always screws down with the logo perfectly oriented upright, a small but satisfying detail. A helium escape valve at the 10 o'clock rounds out the affair on the front side of the watch. Flipping the watch over reveals a solid caseback adorned with military-inspired engravings, including the broad arrow symbol, traditionally used to mark British government property, along with a series of numbers following the format of genuine military-issued watches. 0552 Navy Personnel Code, 923-7697 for a dive watch, the letter A denoting a watch with a screw-down crown, 007 Bond's agent number, and 62, the year the first Bond film was released. It's a playful bit of fictional military provenance that adds to the watch's narrative without screaming James Bond in your face. The dial may be the No Time to Die Seamaster's most distinctive feature yet. Gone is the glossy ceramic with laser-engraved waves that has defined the modern Seamaster aesthetic. In its place sits a matte tropical brown aluminum dial with a subtle metallic quality that shifts in different lighting, sometimes appearing near black, other times revealing warm chocolate undertones. Applied indices in a vintage tan color surround the dial, with distinctive triangular markers at 12, 6, and 9 o'clock. These indices are crafted from titanium with beveled edges that catch what little light they can. Their precision is remarkable. Viewed under magnification, they reveal themselves as miniature sculpture elements with perfect geometrical shapes and flawless loom filling. The arrow-tipped hour and minute hands are skeletonized and filled with the same vintage-toned luminous material. In certain lighting conditions, these hands can occasionally appear nearly black, sometimes creating legibility challenges. The second hand features the classic lollipop design with a red tip, one of the few splashes of vibrant color on the entire watch, and a subtle nod to the red Seamaster text that has become a signature of the line. The absence of a date window contributes significantly to the dial symmetry and clean aesthetics. While some may miss this practical function, the visual balance it creates is undeniable here. Under low light conditions, both the dial and the bezel come alive with blue glowing superluminova, with the minute hand and bezel pip illuminated in green for easier orientation. This differentiated loom coloring is a thoughtful detail that enhances the watch's functionality as a timing instrument. Powering the No Time to Die Seamaster is Omega's Caliber 8806, the no-date variant of their Master Chronometer certified 8800 series. This movement represents everything that has made modern Omega a technical powerhouse in contemporary watchmaking. The 8806 features a coaxial escapement developed by legendary independent watchmaker George Daniels and later industrialized by Omega. This revolutionary escapement design reduces sliding friction compared to the traditional Swiss lever escapement, theoretically improving accuracy and extending service intervals. It's a genuine horological innovation, not just a marketing gimmick, and represents one of the few fundamental improvements to mechanical watchmaking in the modern era. The movement beats at an unusual frequency of 25,200 vibrations per hour, 3.5 Hz, and offers a 55-hour power reserve. As a master chronometer, this caliber has passed 8 rigorous tests set by Metis, including certification for accuracy in 6 positions and under magnetic fields up to an astounding 15,000 Gauss. To put that into perspective, a standard refrigerator magnet generates about 50 Gauss, while an MRI machine produces around 15,000 Gauss, making this watch essentially impervious to anything short of an MRI machine. While the solid caseback prevents viewing the movement, Omega has given the caliber an attractive level of finishing, including rhodium plating and Geneva waves in an arabesque pattern. The free-sprung balance with silicone hairspring further contributes to the movement's accuracy and reliability. Another example of Omega combining traditional craftsmanship with cutting-edge materials and science. Perhaps no element of the No Time to Die Seamaster has garnered more attention than its titanium mesh bracelet. And make no mistake about it, we're huge fans of the bracelet, and we'll start out by saying this is easily one of the most comfortable bracelets we've ever worn, tested on both the 7-inch and 6.75-inch wrist during our review period. This is no ordinary Milanese mesh. It's a specially developed bracelet with a wider, more substantial weave pattern that gives it a distinctive vintage military character while maintaining modern robustness. The craftsmanship is remarkable when examined closely. Each strand of titanium must be independently cut, coiled, and interlaced, creating a bracelet that somehow manages to be both substantial and yet incredibly lightweight. The fact that it's made from grade 2 titanium, a material rarely, if ever, used for mesh bracelets, makes it even more impressive from a manufacturing standpoint. The bracelet tapers elegantly from 20mm at the lugs to approximately 18mm at the clasp. The deployment mechanism uses preset adjustment holes, secured by a flip-up tab mechanism, providing definitive sizing options but less on-the-fly adjustability than sliding clasps found on some mesh bracelets. This is certainly something worth mentioning here. Our wearer's 6.75-inch wrist meant the watch was just a bit too tight or a bit too loose, while our 7-inch wrist wearer found the perfect fit with this setup. Okay, back to that clasp for a moment, as that's where we encounter the bracelet's most polarizing feature. Its substantial size creates a rigid section under the wrist that doesn't always conform to the natural curve, especially on smaller wrists. For some wearers, this is a non-issue. For others, it's a deal breaker. Those with wrists under 6.5 inches may find the standard bracelet doesn't curve sufficiently, though Omega does offer a shorter version upon request. Thankfully, Omega includes an alternative, a color-matched NATO strap with titanium hardware, featuring black, beige, and gray stripes that complement the watch's color scheme nicely. Many owners report preferring this option for both comfort and aesthetics. Your mileage may vary though. So, at $10,000 on the titanium mesh bracelet, this watch commands nearly $4,000 more than a standard steel Seamaster. That's a significant premium that can't be justified by material costs alone. There's undoubtedly a bond tax built into this price. Yet, dismissing this as merely a movie tie-in with an inflated price tag would be missing what makes this watch special. What you're paying for isn't just titanium and a famous name. It's a fundamentally different design philosophy. Where the standard Seamaster leans into glossy modern luxury, the No Time to Die edition offers a more subdued, tool-oriented approach that many enthusiasts have been craving. The watch does have its compromises. The legibility isn't always perfect in challenging lighting, the bracelet may not fit everyone comfortably, especially smaller wrists, the aluminum bezel insert lacks the scratch resistance of ceramic, and yes, you're paying a premium for the bond association. And yet there's something special about this watch that transcends its spec sheet, a coherence of design and purpose that makes it feel special. It doesn't try to be all things to all people. Instead, it commits fully to a specific vision of what a modern vintage tool watch should be, and that singularity of purpose is something we truly appreciate. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the No Time to Die edition represents the ultimate evolution of the Seamaster? Or do you prefer the more classic variants? Is the premium price justified by the unique design? Hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and we'll see you in the next video.